Have you ever felt like even though you try your hardest to do all the things you know you're supposed to be doing, eating better and moving your body more and actually getting the sleep your body wants, the things that you know will make you functionally younger and feel better, you always just fall back into your old habits? Well, you're not alone. Most of us know what we should be doing. It's the doing it consistently over time that's really hard. In this video, I'll tell you why that happens, how it's not related to you just being really lazy or having absolutely no willpower, and what to do about it. So let's do it. You work so hard, you plan, you get excited, and you make some changes. You're gonna exercise, eat better, make a friend, use your brain in some way that just isn't endless scrolling or doing one more crossword or the latest Wordle. You know all these things will make you age functionally younger and feel better. But ultimately, it doesn't work. You always fall back into your old habits. This happens to everyone. It's not you. Most of us know what we should be doing, but actually doing it consistently over time is a whole different story. Then a lot of people get into the blame game. Well, I'm just lazy, or I'm not motivated enough, or it's just me, or I didn't really want to anyway. Or we try to blame somebody else. Well, it's society, it's the government, it's the internet. This never happened before we had Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, or I learned how to scroll. Or maybe if my family wasn't just so demanding. And then we have the ultimate excuse, which is, I just don't have enough time. I've used that one so many times myself. But if you really look at how you spend your time, there are plenty of minutes that are being used by things that aren't especially rejuvenating for you or restful or productive or whatever thing that you say you care about. Ultimately, we can just stop blaming ourselves or the world. Nobody even has to be wrong. The real issue is that our brain is wired to resist change. Our brains prefer things that are familiar, even if they're habits that aren't good for us. When you try to change something, our brains default back into the patterns and habits that it's used to. This is why making new habits stick is so tricky, because it's actually understanding how is our brain working and how do we work with it more effectively. For example, have you ever planned on eating healthier and by about 8 o'clock at night you're reaching for the chips because that's what you always do? That's our brain's natural wiring taking over. Here are 3 things that we can do to work with our brain's natural tendencies and wiring rather than against it. First step, make it too easy to fail. The problem is that most people pick goals that are way too big. Remember, your brain is wired to go with what's easy, efficient, and what it knows, what it already has encoded in the connections you've made in the past. When you try a new habit, the prefrontal cortex, the part that is wired to plan and organize and follow through on something new that you want to do, is trying to form new connections. But if a change that you're trying to make is too big, it triggers the limbic system, which is deeper within your brain. This is the part that makes us feel stressed and uncomfortable and avoidant. So rather than reinforcing the new habit, it makes us want to give up and be like, nah, that was a bad idea to begin with. So the fix is to shrink your goals down to something so small, it feels ridiculous. Instead of, I should exercise for a half an hour or an hour each day, shrink it down to 5 minutes. When it's easy and you get those 5 minutes in, it's so much more likely to keep you motivated and going. Step number 2 is to attach the new idea to something you already do. The problem is that your brain is wired for habits, the things that it's used to doing. Repeating familiar behaviors is easier than picking up a new behavior. So the fix is to tie something new that you want to be doing to something that's already ingrained in your brain's wiring. If you want to take some new vitamins, put the vitamins by the toothbrush that you're already using every day. Of course, we mindlessly go in, brush our teeth, and the next step is just to take the vitamins. You're adding on. You want to stretch? Do it after your coffee. Familiar behavior, you have the coffee, you like the coffee, and add the stretching. You're adding it on. The easier that you make it to glom onto what you're already doing, the more automatic it becomes. So I had this idea. I really wanted to throw in a little burst of exercise in the morning. I'm a morning person, and so it just kind of naturally fits there. But after I take my shower and I'm getting ready, there's, 5-10 minutes where I could squeeze it in, but I've already showered and I don't want to get sweaty and the kids wake up and it's kind of busy. So I implemented a new program, which I do basically every day unless I'm sick, where I go into the bathroom, brush my teeth, and then I do it immediately. And I do a little shaking, a little stretching, and I do a 3-minute plank. So I am literally in the bathroom before my shower planking for 3 minutes every day. And it works so well. It has just kind of been ingrained in me that this is what I do. So when I'm really running short on time or I needed extra sleep, it feels bad when I don't get to squeeze that in. Adding on really does work. The third step is to trick your brain with instant rewards. The problem is that healthy behaviors have really wonderful long-term benefits, but our brains crave instant gratification. Dopamine, the brain's reward chemical, is triggered when you do something really satisfying, like eating something sugary or watching something funny on TV. Long-term habits like exercising or improving your sleep don't give you that immediate hit, so it's much harder to get them to stick at the beginning. What those long-term things do is provide a delayed dopamine response. So you start feeling good after the workout or after your wonderful night's sleep. This makes it harder at first, but more sustainable over time because it becomes incorporated. So that's why I'm always like, I don't know, I just feel better after I work out, or I feel better after I get a good night's sleep, is that reward system is rewarding me for something that I've been doing over time. My delayed response is kicking in. So what's the fix? We're gonna pair the new habit with something that already gives you a dopamine hit, that's already pleasurable. Like if you wanna go for a walk, pair it with something you like listening to your favorite podcast. Ooh, I can't wait to listen to that new episode. I get to do it when I go for a walk. I need to drink more water. I'm gonna get my fancy cup out. Every time I see my fancy cup, and I have lots of cups like this, every time I see my fancy cup, I get this little bit burst of happiness. Oh yeah, and I'm drinking water out of it. Mission accomplished. So instead of trying to make new habits and force your brain, let's work with your brain to make these new things happen. Let's make it too easy to fail. Let's attach it to something that we already do, and let's give ourselves immediate rewards. If you like these ideas and want more support in making real, lasting change, keep on the lookout for my functional age program, because that's what we're doing. We're talking about the research and the science to actually changing our habits and making us functionally younger. There's going to be a link below, and I'm going to tell people in my newsletter community about it first. My newsletter is free. It comes out every Sunday, so feel free to sign up for that too. Can't wait to have all the fun with all of you in the next video or newsletter or our community. Bye.